The other thing you do is if you wanted to take a quarter off on a day like this, that's a home. So you have that option. You may not want to, you might think, no, then you might just stay as a home. But I was pretty words in our seeing this stuff. So you don't want you should be shouted off. The junk
Can you guys focus in on Gaz's ass too when you're doing some shots?
There is nothing safe I can say right now. And Dutch, so first of all she goes by Mika rather than Anamika. And Torbeck. Mika Torbeck. That's how you do it actually. Like, I realise you have a little glint in your eye then, but Lucy McKeppin, Mika Torbeck. Yep, that's it. I was looking for Smith on here so I could do, do you know the name Brady Collins? I didn't see the second one, sorry. I only half watched you guys, so I skipped every second one. So that's a lie, I just sort of sounded funny. Brilliant. There'll be a time for that. Oh, yeah, headphones on your head, so I feel like I can smell Jeff.
Once we get still clear, then it will be good to go live.
I'll start.
Alright, so ready to go?
Welcome to Giffen Park. This is round 14 of the Bond University QAFLW Exum Sport Pride Round, where we are celebrating acceptance and inclusivity in footy, particularly with regard to the LGBTIQA+ community. My name is Daniel Viles. It's a great pleasure to be with you, and well done to those of you who have crossed over from the thriller that we just had between Wilston Grange and Southport and managed to find the other video on the official AFLQ YouTube channel. With me, backing up from the previous game, is Hannah Davies. Hannah, have you got your breath back yet?
Just slightly, because, yeah, look, that was a pretty big game, last one, and I think we're about to get another thriller on our hands here.
Well, the way I see this game, these two sides have had almost identical rides during 2023. Both of them had off-seasons they'd rather forget. There were lots of players who left. At the beginning of the year, there were injuries. There were lots of young players coming in that had players going in and out from academy and under-18s and whatnot. And I'm looking at this piece of paper in front of me with the two teams on them. And to be honest, there's barely a struck match between them. I mean, have you had a chance to have a look through the sides and see if you can find one outweighing the other in any part of the field?
Not particularly. And look, it's pretty exciting for me because I've actually haven't commentated on these two sides before, sorry, is what I was trying to say.
You're right.
So, look, I think everything's going to surprise me today, in general.
That's fine. We will say, and I'm a netball fan. I do love the sport of netball, but Hannah is a resident in the world of football, and UQ as a club is one that has often provided a pathway from netball over to Aussie rules. In today's side we have Charlotte Andrews, who's come from netball. Of course, Steph O'Brien is now at Southport, came across. Jackie Russell, two-time National League Premier. We have another one today, Hannah, and this is your wheelhouse.
This absolutely is, yeah. Of course, number 17 for UQ today is Bridie Condren. And, yeah, if you're familiar with the Queensland netball pathway, you'll definitely know that name. She has made her Super Netball debut. She made it with the Fever, interestingly. Made that, I believe, in 2020 in the COVID series when everyone came over to Queensland and she got called up. She's a defender. She's a goalkeeper for there. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of role she takes on in this scenario. But, you know, UQ, they have a habit of making some pretty brilliant players out of netballers. So I think she'll be in very safe hands over at UQ.
None going the other way. It's Lucy Hicks, the UQ captain, another ex-netballer when she was Lucinda Benjamin, played for the Ipswich Jets with Steph O'Brien. She's in the ruck to start with and captaining at the moment because Maddie Crowley-Long is unavailable. But I have been told by UQ coach Ross Clayfield that we may see Condren in the ruck later today. Game 2 is underway at Giffen Park. It's Exum Sport Pride Round. No one can get out of the middle. UQ wearing white jerseys for the first time. Jane Childs moving into the middle today. Mark taken on the 50. Kicked inside 50. Just the fumbled ball went down to the base of Gracie Champion. Maroochydore able to play it out. Not getting any real numbers on it at the moment. Back inside, finds Hicks. Hicks over the top, looking for someone in the pocket. The defensive mark not taken. It was dropped initially by David. Champion straddling the ball. Looks to come back inside. She'll be held up just inside the boundary line in the right forward pocket. Harriet Knife was working hard in the forwards before for UQ. She's in jersey 41. Sarah Jane O'Grady also filling in as captain as Kelsey Sills is injured, and she brings the ball to ground. Go through the umpires for the day shortly, possibly when we get outside the 50. As UQ camped there, Maroochydore just able to clear it, went into the shins of Kaya Hides, possibly pushed off the ball without... Oh, the player is down there who was pushed off the ball. We'll keep an eye on her. Maroochydore in back play. O'Grady wrestling with Seaton. That's going to happen a bit today. Out of the middle from Mason. Just through the hands of Champion. Running onto it was Sartor. Champion has a second go. Nearly fell to Fletcher. Maroochydore looking to play it out. Not able to get onto it. Fletcher again. Back to Hicks. Inside. Fumbled. No one able to get their hands around it. Cleared. Well run away by, might be Epstein. Maroochydore, you will hear dual whistles today. That's going to be a feature today because reserve grades playing behind us. Jane Childs bring down Kaya Hides in the middle of the field.
Well, geez, Maroochydore did well to get that out of danger, but right back at you, UQ. Hicks. She'll be key today for the reigning champions. Had a much better performance in recent weeks than they did start the season. It's been pretty awesome, actually, Daniel, to watch that kind of comeback this season. It took them a couple of weeks to find some form, and now they're on the way to something.
And it's good to see these two teams playing a game in decent weather. We covered the game in round 2 up at Maroochydore when the winds were about 35 kilometres an hour. As Fletcher, not as good as her mark of the year effort at Yeronga, but takes a good mark on the 50. But yes, accuracy was impossible that day in that wind. Through the gap, Sartor running onto it. Sartor's at an open goal. Sartor opens the scoring.
Well, great start from UQ. Maroochydore, and look at the flags there, just with the goal umpire. Love to see that rainbow flag. Plenty of rainbow across the fields here today. But yeah, really strong start from UQ straight away. Maroochydore just looked like they were a bit reactive.
Getting the ball out of the middle. First of all, Hicks is winning the rucks early. She's up against Renee Tees, who used to play here. This is her first year at Maroochydore, and she's been arguably the best player of the year, but spent several years at Cooperoo before that, so she'll know the conditions. But Hicks has got the better of her early.
Well, she's certainly got the height and the hops, doesn't she?
And she's had a regular go. Hicks has been a forward for most of her time at UQ, but this year had more of a go in the ruck and is learning. Seaton, bust to tackle. Nothing changes. Through the hands of Childs. Had support behind her, but was able to recover well enough. Good pressure at the back from Hennessy. Was just able to get a handle on the ball. Turned around by UQ almost straight away. O'Grady tackled as soon as she got through. Had support from Tees, holding off the ball. Free kick Maroochydore. They're just outside the 50. Nearer to the indigo side of the 50-metre line than the red side. It's one thing coaches will be telling their teams today. Play indigo side. Very important to get indigo side of the... Oh, shut up, Daniel.
Daniel, sometimes I zone in and out and I'm suddenly very lost.
Yeah, that's... yeah, most of my
We
partners
love
have
him,
said that
don't
too.
worry.
Yeah, it's good. Middle of the field, just came off the feet of that looked like Hennessy again. In fact, it wasn't. That was Gillard. Playing a long way back, named at full forward, has kicked some excellent goals this year, Chelsea Gillard, but also a bit of time out with injury.
Our umpires today just quickly, proudly supported by Bradnam's Windows and Doors, Hannah Milner, Leon Jones in the field, and boundary Brendan Press and Matthew Forsyth and Luke McLean and Rowan Briggs for goals.
Maroochydore just losing possession 50, have to retreat to advance. David will go back through the corridor, found a good target in Torbecker. On debut today, come up from Victoria this year. Been playing most of the reserve grade, now in first. On the 50, Logan worked hard, found Jesse Sills. Sills comes up the near side, has kicked that away, and Charlotte Andrews takes a mark befitting a netballer. Comes wide, I thought was looking for Dawson, but instead found, okay, I need to apologise, number 6 is Eva Sato. It was Elka Barnett who scored before, I feel terrible. But number 3 was Elka Barnett who scored the goal before. I've been calling the wrong numbers, I apologise. Back to Jasmine Decker in the middle of the field, and the mark is taken by Ava Seaton.
Great placement, but just goes through the hands there of Harriet.
So running back was Demi Norton, but there will be a boundary throw-in on the far side. Sorry, just recovery here. I don't like misidentifying players. So
understandable, Daniel, but never intentional. We have had a few jersey number changes, due to the Pride Guernseys. Any Victorians listening will hate that I just said the word jersey. I apologise, Guernsey.
Not a Victorian in sight.
Thank God.
Maroochydore have a free kick on the left wing. Moving inside. Easy mark taken by Torbecker. She spears it towards the left. The intercept mark is dropped, but UQ contesting everything at the moment. Be wrapped up. Leona Jones says that's not coming out of there, as Lara Mason was last to get up. Seaton. She'll get plenty of possessions today. Contested possessions are her game, and she's been getting hundreds of those this year, quite literally. Maroochydore free kick. Best attacking opportunity, Renee Tees. Tees heads towards the 50. Excellent mark taken. She goes inside. Falls to Norton. Norton goes inside, looking for space with Sills. Sills snaps around the body. That's off target, and it'll be out for a throw-in.
Well, not too bad of a result for the Roos. Had plenty of people in the square too, so just needed a little bit of extra accuracy and it could have been a goal.
Thrown in the forward pocket. Jones has spotted something. There was a little bit of argy-bargy between the two rucks. There's Hicks and Gillard. Just separated. They get a second opportunity. Just cleared Gillard. UQ with numbers at the contest. Left behind by Decker. Fell through to Muir. No one really with their hands on it. Seaton does best. And she'll win the free kick. I apologise. Saw the arm go up the other way. Maroochydore have a free kick. Very good opportunity here. This is Zara Hurley. Zara Hurley. Fair way out. Will need a good thump. Offline. Gets the minor. Maroochydore on the board.
While they've been doing their thing in the forward, Bridie Condren's come on for UQ. Exciting to see what she can do. Looks to be in the full forward position. But we won't see her just yet, as that's a great take from the Roos.
Jaya Epstein plays through the middle. Subsequent whistle, a 50-metre penalty has been given. May have been a player running through the protected zone. I didn't see whether the player on the mark was moving, but it is a 50-metre penalty, and Jaya Epstein will be confident.
Certainly will be. This one could put them ahead.
Jaya Epstein, simple. Very simple, very effective. And Maroochydore have a lead change. And a little bit of deja vu in that there are only 3 goals in the match up at Maroochydore back in April. But the deciding goal was a 50-metre penalty. That was to Naomi Fitzpatrick. Today, UQ decided to get the goal from a 50-metre penalty out of the way in the first quarter, which is very good tactically, I feel.
It is very good. Intentional.
Hmm.
So the Roos lead by 1. Well, if you were with us for the previous game, it was also a very seesawing event. The Sharks taking on the Gorillas and getting up. This one already looking just as close, but still under 10 minutes to play in the first term here.
It's Jane Childs wrestling with Renee Tees on the ground. Childs usually a winger, but been moved into the middle today to allow some of the younger players out in the wing. Megan Cook, repeat everything I just said for Jane Childs. The work on the ground was fierce. That was from Bridie Eva. Made her debut earlier this season. Looks at home in first grade. Good tap from Tees. Picked up by Childs at the back. Flat kick, well caught by Epstein. Epstein comes near side. Found the run of McKecken. She's on debut today. Jessie Searles inside 50. Gillard got ahead of Henning. There were double hands in it, however, so that's allowed to play on. Umpire will bring it up 40 from goal. And the intercept mark from Epstein back here. She's been influential so far today. Hicks with a very good tap on that. Went back towards Muir. Wasn't able to keep hold of it. Was under good pressure. Logan retreating. Comes out the side. Eva will get there. Sorry, that's Elka Barnett. Her name is Elka Barnett, and eventually I'm going to tell you who she is. Whistle's gone. And she may have run more than 15 there, so this is a... Okay, I lost track of the umpire. Do we have another 50?
Looks to be moving quite a long way.
I think what happened there was that the free kick was awarded to Maroochydore. The UQ player didn't realise, just tossed the ball back instead of giving it to them. 50 was given away. Kick has gone into the left forward pocket, and this will be a shot. Just trying to identify. It might be Hennessy out there. Happy to be corrected. It's a low spearing kick. Just got McKecken in the mush.
Yeah, accidental falcon there.
Outside is Norton. Norton not able to hold on. All hands on deck. It's a dry day, but the ground is wet. It will be slippery conditions with a bit of grass and moisture on the ball.
Wouldn't be surprised if we get a bit of rain later in the day, Daniel.
Yeah, it's definitely a day when you have to look down to see the rainbows rather than up. Back towards Hicks. She got a good tap. Was looking for the run of, I think, Seaton. Able to clear down the right-hand side. Seaton turned over. Maroochydore working back through the middle. See if that kind of mark's being dropped. I think that's Imogen David there. She drops about 1 mark a year, so if she's dropping marks, then it's wet. Through the bottom of the field, Seaton, Norton, working well. Norton, a former academy player herself. Condren, just not able to hold on, but attacked the contest well. Childs, Epstein, Williams on the ground. And the whistle says, right, you can get back up again. Probably Seaton and Epstein controlling the contest early. Childs has been good outside the contest, and she's the one who got it towards the 50. And then a lovely run, not a lovely handball. Well read, however, from Johnson Moody. Usually a reserve grade captain, moved up to firsts today. O'Grady goes wide and finds Tees all on a lonesome. Tees will move wide still. Epstein. Epstein collecting possessions like a kid with stamps. In the back, just went over the back of Dargy on debut today. A couple of players from the West Juniors Club under 17s. Charlotte Russell in 36, Claudia Dargy 37.
Daniel, I'm still thinking about the stamps comment. I don't know how to tell you that I don't think kids use stamps anymore.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Maroochydore playing it out of the middle. And then holding off the ball, holding the player off the ball, means that will be another free kick in the middle of the field. Going forward and wide, straight to centre half forward. Gillard missed the mark, got the tackling, cleared by Andrews. Andrews through the centre of the contest, good mark retreating, taken by Harriet Knife. Knife plays right, Netballers mark from Hicks. Hicks inside 50. Dropped by Fletcher. Good pressure on the contest again. Player was held before the ball got there. This is a free kick on the edge of the scoring range for Gracie Champion. She does have a long boot.
Just under 5 minutes to play here too. Trailing by 1.
Scored on debut way back in round 1 at Springfield, Gracie Champion. Goes for a low kick. It's in towards the goal square. Hits the deck. Maroochydore have numbers around it, unable to hold on to it. Arnica Williams working hardest. Squeezes out the bottom, below O'Grady. Good work to get it further out to the side. They're moving it away from goal, but only sideways, not out. Williams finds O'Grady, her skipper. O'Grady will clear 50. It's to a 2-on-2. Well taken by Kaya Hides in traffic.
Smart work just to settle that one. Take a breather. Beautiful placement.
Found McKecken in the middle. She's been active.
Really
Went low. That's good umpiring to let that go.
Yeah, definitely ducked there.
Touched in flight, I think that was called. So even though the apparent mark was taken, allowed to play on. Child's working hard. The tackle was fierce from Hides. Mason working hard away from Eva. Boundary throwing.
So just before we saw UQ's Katie Fletcher come off, just talking about the knee. She looks like she's getting that one looked at by the trainer.
She has missed some time with various injuries, Katie Fletcher, and she's an exciting goal scorer when she gets going. Tees won the battle out the back. Unusual in this field, and she's from a basketball background. Eva got the inside of the boot, went over the head of Muir. Henning attacks it. Henning can't quite believe she wasn't named as fullback for Queensland a couple of weeks ago, but I'm not a selector and probably shouldn't be. Epstein outside 50, inside 50, clears the contest. Henning gets involved. Got there ahead of her former teammate in Fitzpatrick. Mason able to run it out. Not the cleanest kick outside of 50. Epstein again. Has Sartor on top of her. That's Sartor, not Barnett. Be a throw-in. Williams retreats. Tees feeds inside 50. Nearly picked off by Dawson. She left it behind. Childs will clear. Childs through the middle. Cleaned up by O'Grady playing high. Sorry, that's David. David in towards Williams, who's occupied on that centre half forward position. Just trying to lock it inside 50. Zara Hurley knocked it to advantage. Found some red lionesses, or as they are today, white and rainbow lionesses in the way. This is where Hannah tells me that kids don't have white and rainbow lionesses either. But we move on.
I won't go that far, Daniel.
The mercy rule has been applied.
Yeah.
Maroochydore keeping it on the 50. Leona Jones is all over a push off the ball. And Maroochydore, who've probably owned the last 5 minutes or so, will have a free kick outside the 50. They'll need a couple of passes to get there.
And that one goes straight into the hands of Hicks.
An influential Hicks.
Very easy target for both sides, apparently.
Found Jacinta Fisher out wide. Fisher from an athletics background was, forgot the name of the university, but in Texas. And she was a member of their track team over there. Played on was Barnett. Ran into trouble. Was able to dispose, so no free kick, but possibly could have made life easier for herself. Muir tackled from behind. Not paid. O'Grady battling through the contest. Mason at the back. Mason versus O'Grady. No prior. Cook brought to ground. And Maroochydore getting it forward via tackling. Eventually through, that may have been high contact. It has been called so. Free kick on the 50 against Jane Childs.
Well, another win here for Maroochydore. Done really well, just playing smart, clean footy. And they're being really patient with it too, which I love. Often see teams get to this point in the field and really panic. Not today for Maroochydore. That one goes up nicely.
Fitzpatrick again, left it behind. Opportunity not over. Hyde's working with her. Came out wide. Went to Kate McKenna. Not able to control it. Oh, now will this be called deliberate? Interesting call here. Just a boundary throw in.
Fair enough.
No, it is a. I
is.
was right the first time. Taken by Gillard. Gillard centralises the play, beats everyone. Henning will clean up, and she thumps it as she's been doing for about the last 6 years in this competition. The work went from Knife to Sartor. Sartor through the middle. Just held off the contest. Quarter time. It's a slugfest here at Giffen Park. 7 points to 6. Maroochydore lead University of Queensland. Goals to Elka Barnett for the University of Queensland and to Jaya Epstein for Maroochydore. We'll be back in a few minutes. This is round 14, Exum Sport Pride round of the Bond University QAFLW.
All I see is O'Grady gets there first. You will see, oh, well that's because she left 5 seconds earlier before the other. Does that help at all with, sure. So, that's right, yeah, she's, O'Grady in 37 and David in 39 look very, very similar. They've both got long York this weekend?
Yep, we all good to go back live.
I believe so. Just need
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, yep, we're all ready to go.
No.
Yep.
Welcome back to Giffen Park, Coorparoo. This is Game 2 of Exum Sport Pride Round, Round 14 of the Bond University QAFLW. University Queensland wearing the unfamiliar white with rainbow specially commissioned Pride jersey. They trail the Maroochydore Roos in their typical green but with Pride-coloured numbers, 6 points to 7. Goals to Elka Barnett for UQ and Jaya Epstein for Maroochydore. My name's Daniel Viles. With me is Hannah Davies. Hannah, for me, I've identified Seaton and Epstein as the keys in the middle of the field. How are you seeing the play at the moment in terms of just how they're able to get the ball out, really?
Yeah, I'd certainly agree, particularly with Epstein. She's been really key for the Roos at the moment. Leading by 1 now, 6-7.
And it's Kaya Hides who bursts out of the middle. Low scoring, but plenty of pressure on every contest as they head out to the eastern side of Giffen Park. Jaya Epstein right on cue. Knocked over by Sartor, all legally. Be a ball up on the far side. In front of a sign, both the Labor State member and the Liberal councillor and Councillor Fiona Cunningham will be tossing the coin for the 4 o'clock game between Coorparoo and Bond later today. And Coorparoo have asked me to mention that because she's a big supporter of women's footy in this part of town.
That's very fitting then, that the ball has travelled over that way.
It's always nice when they put an advertising hoarding there as Barnett, the goal scorer, takes the ball just outside 50, moves in quickly. The mark was dropped. Just goes behind, tussling on the 50. That was Knife, who wasn't quite able to wrap her hands around the ball. She's been active early. And I checked with her earlier in the season. She does pronounce the K. It's Knife, not knife. But she does cut through. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
40 out.
Plenty more of that to come, don't worry.
For 2 days, Epstein working back found Johnson Moody. Johnson Moody, not one of her better kicks. That'll be a boundary throw-in. In front, and I'm hoping on camera at the moment we can see the painted Coorparoo Australian Football Club sign. Not sure if this was mentioned in the last game, but Taya Oliver, the Coorparoo defender, and her parents painted that yesterday. Apart from the first letter O in the word football, which apparently was painted by a guy named Nathan Beach, and he's way too proud of it. Taken by Jasmine Decker in the centre square. Sorry, Hannah.
Always good to mention the little things, isn't it? Credit where credit's due, as that's a great delivery in.
Dropped by Fletcher. Overrun. Regaining possession. Champion went without it. Seaton still putting pressure on, and she did just hold on a little bit long. No, in fact, the free kick's gone the other way. Seaton will drill this, you would think. But good work in lead-up play from Edie McCabe in jersey 20. Another of the young guns. Still plays for West's under-17s, leading goal scorer for them this year. But right now, it's about Ava Seaton. Scored her first QAFLW goal on this ground against Coorparoo 2 years ago at the other end. Scores her latest one right now. UQ regain the lead.
It's been great hustle from UQ. That's, a couple of goals now, fairly close in, but they've done well to get themselves in a great position for it. Mathematically still able to make finals. That's important to remember, but it will come down to a few results today. 4 p.m. Coorparoo taking on Bond University. So not only do they need a big performance right now, but they'll be hanging around 4 p.m. to see what the result of that thriller is too.
Could be it will be a very interesting game at 4 o'clock because I've just decided it will be.
Because you'll be there, Daniel,
That's
it.
Why. But no, two very physical teams. There's Seaton again. I'd love to see a GPS tracker at the end of the game because I'm not sure how she gets from one point of the field to another. It's quite extraordinary sometimes. Sartor was battling with O'Grady through the middle. Got the handball away to Otto. Charged down by Childs. Created space through the middle. That'll be cut off by Tees. Moves inside, finds Epstein. Epstein on her bike. She's an important link player. One of the best in this competition for the role she plays. Hides on her bike. Hides inside 50, found Fitzpatrick. Played for UQ for a decade, first year at Maroochydore. Fitzpatrick kept it wide, well cut off by Fisher. Fisher, just a little chip. Found Andrews wide. Andrews keeps it wide, overcooked the kick, went through a few pairs of hands. Epstein gets there just behind Sartor. Well played back to Knife, who's dropped a long way back. Went check side with the kick. It worked. Fletcher through the legs. Went back inside to Hurley. Hurley over the top of Hides. Childs read it well. Brought to ground by Hides. Umpire blew it up before she was brought to ground. Cloudy day, ground a bit wet. Seaton out the back. Didn't quite work. Henning will retreat. Gets the handball away. I think she just handballed that as hard as she could and hoped it found a teammate. Mason going through the centre square, across it. Found by Barnett. Barnett showing the speed. That's remarkable. Onto the boot, looking for the champion up forward. Just misses her. Cleaned up by O'Grady, who spun out of danger and found the run of David to her left. Taken in the middle, that was by McKenna. Gone away from her. Dawson in the middle. Found Childs, been very active in the middle of the park. Not able to be held onto by Barnett. Barnett pushed off it, went underneath a couple of players. Hennessy was one. The tackling was fierce. It will be a ball up. Strong tackling from Demi Norton.
UQ just using their handballs really nicely to move it around, playing that patient brand of football. Great take here.
The Sartor keeps it wide, finds Barnett, who'd moved up forward. She'll come back inside, not her best kick, falls to Sartor. Sartor goes for the square. The mark just dropped by Champion, has a second opportunity. Had to snap it, it stayed in the field of play. Chased by Knife, has Fletcher inside. Behind her had Dargy. Pushed off it by Hyde. She's worked very hard today. Round the corner, out of danger from Tees. Fitzpatrick chasing, and it'll go out of bounds.
Well, great hustle there from the Roos to get that out of the danger zone. Goodness, that ball from Sartor, so close to going in. If she'd had a little bit more on it, I think it would have gone over the arms and in.
Yeah, I mean, Sartor's very young. Strength will come, but there's no question mark about her speed. The other back, Megan Cook. She's one of the players who's moved from wing to inside midfield to accommodate the likes of Barnett and Sartor and these other very speedy players who can work outside the contest. Hicks and Tees. Hicks should have had the ball and just missed it on the way down as Cook brings Muir to ground. 12 points to 7 UQ. Same number of scoring shots. There's not really any wind. Most of the scoring's been done at the right-hand side of your screen, but that's just how it's happened. It's certainly not being blown that way. Cleared by Otto. Well picked off. And that was from Dargy, I think. Yes. She moves wider still. Looking to go inside 50. Kicked away. Norton was under no pressure whatsoever. Norton will play inside, over the head of Eva. Dawson will clean up, has the run of Childs behind her. Then provides the shepherd for Childs to play back through the middle. Kick to a contest. Epstein was there first. Fell to a teammate. Sartor. In traffic, didn't really want to be in traffic. Gave it to Dawson, said you deal with it. Inside 50. Seaton. Seaton in a bit of space. Gets the bounce. She'll drain this. Not a particularly brave prediction from me. That's just, you watch Ava Seaton enough and you go, yeah, this is meat and drink for her.
She's certainly one of the stars in this side. Really great to see her stay on with the club after a sensational season last year too. I love that she had the confidence too to bounce that one and take it all the way.
It is a hard field out there, which two things. Firstly, it's good for bouncing. Secondly, if you see a player hit the ground heavily and not get up, it doesn't mean they're not tough. It means that Giffen Park is tough.
Well, it's something we don't see as much in this competition, Daniel, is probably players, you know, just trusting their skill in that they can bounce it. And here we go again. Well,
Seaton on cue, looking for the run of champion. Got it, claiming the mark, paid. Eric Hipwood would love that kind of umpiring last night, but...
oh, we won't talk about that.
No, and apart from anything else, I try not to compare men's football with women's football because, you know, own merits. But Gracie Champion, wonderful lead, got front position, and when you get front position, which is a key difference, you tend to get paid them. But created by Seaton again, who's coming off for a break. Gracie Champion didn't score in the first quarter from a set shot. That one's a bit low as well. Maroochydore had the numbers around. Fletcher snipes. Out of bounds on the full, but good positioning to be there in the first place.
Yeah, it was. She's been awesome. Little pocket rocket, kind of just appears in all the right places.
And in my mind, probably current leader of the Mark of the Year competition. Go back and check the socials for the QAFLW Instagram and Facebook pages if you want to see that, Mark.
Bridie Condren's come back on. Tell you what, I'd love to see something special from her today. Is that too much pressure to put on her?
Look, it's her second game of Aussie rules, but she is an athlete, and sometimes...
Well, she's great in the air too. So is Hicks.
Okay. And Childs just putting her arms out to show, yes, I was taken without the ball. Arnica Williams looks confused, but doesn't argue. Jane Childs, shot. Not a shot, she's 50 out, but... Has leads up front. Barnett was giving her an option. Condren's giving her an option. Knife. They're all darting across in front of her. Heads in the direction of Knife. Put one hand up behind the contest. That's Logan in the middle. Mason wrestling for it on the ground, but Logan does enough. Squeezes out the side. Needed to be cleaned up. That might have been Torbecker. Found Norton. Norton plays on. Maybe shouldn't have. Wonderful tackle from behind. And that'll be a free kick to Jane Childs, who's been impressive today.
Jane Childs just getting involved in everything. How's the little pass over here to Hicks? Nailed the pressure on that one perfectly.
Was well weighted in the lead from Hicks.
Well, that's that timing. I'm going to claim it as a netball time.
The skills are transferable. Growing in confidence this season, Lucy Hicks. Captain of the side these days. It's out to the right, but you can see how much distance she's gained from even a couple of years ago.
Still UQ, well, dominating this quarter, aren't they? Seems to they're keeping it within their 50 pretty well. Certainly in their possession a lot of the time, as the Roos just use the far wing to get down the field, but a couple of fumbles.
Just left the opportunity open. The Sills working hard. That's Jessie Sills. Kelsey out injured at the moment, which is why O'Grady is captain. Gets her hands back on the ball. Lovely step. Jessie goes inside. That'll be eaten by Decker. She can take much more spectacular marks than that. Has a very long trundle. Eventually disposes. Looking for Barnett. Under pressure, but did well. Out towards Epstein. Epstein tried to get away, couldn't. That is holding. Well done, Elka Barnett. I think that's UQ in a nutshell there, in that the stars have been Seaton and Childs, but everyone is making sure, like I think every midfielder's made at least one tackle to lock it in up forward. In towards Childs. Decided I wasn't praising her enough. Needed to get her name there again. She goes wide to a 2-on-1 over the back of Hicks. That's well intercepted. Past Epstein.
Yeah, neither player knowing whose that was.
Bit of miscommunication. Sartor goes in the middle. Williams goes the punch. Falls to Fisher. Fisher works her way through. McKecken was putting pressure on the back. That'll go back to David. McKecken. McKecken wide. Found Sills. Sills was under pressure. Back inside from Hydes. Was the contact high? Was it held? It's been called held. And Lara Mason will have a free kick. just inside the rainbow. Elects to lay it up. Ended up kicking to a lot of empty space, which was run into by Hennessy. And she was brought to ground straight away. Harriet Knife will have a shot. Now, earlier in the season, I felt Knife had a very nervous set shot, but it's been noticeably improving week by week.
Big call to make right before she takes this one.
She can't hear me. I'm fine.
This is true. Can she live up to that pressure, though? Knife, good run up, big swing. Will it make the distance? It doesn't, but it goes into the hands
Champion.
of Champion. Well, beautiful positioning. Who better to have right under than Gracie Champion? She's looking to make it for the morning for UQ, right in front of post, and she hits the post. Unfortunate, that one. Bit of nerves perhaps, because we don't see that too often.
So have turned it over just inside 50. Epstein, Sills, charged down. I think that was McKenna in the middle. Muir, shortest player on the field, working hard. That's not a criticism. And I saw her standing next to Jessie Sills earlier today. Yes, she is shorter than Jessie Sills. So they never bump into anything. On the 50.
Can certainly be an advantage, can't it?
You need all sizes in a good working Aussie rules team. It's not all about just creating a cookie cutter player. That's lovely on the lead from Edgar. And yes, it's been paid, rightly so. She held that for long enough.
This is better from the Roos, but possibly also where they've struggled, just getting it out and into their own attacking side, as that one will head out. And the ump to throw that in.
It's usually that third pass in the chain that's undoing Maroochydore, isn't it? It's almost like UQ are prepared to let them have the first pass, challenge the second, then go hard on the third, and it's worked.
They've got a very nicely put together defence, and also, you know, having someone like Henning as your kind of last wall is just really hard to get past.
Dual premiership defender is one of my favourite bits of footy is the force and backs when they're trying to get the ball to the person who's been awarded the free kick. You get a smaller version in netball, of course. Out towards left half forward. Hyde's chasing it, ran behind it. Kept into play, Sills. Sills wrestling with McKenna. There's not going to be a winner there, the whistle comes.
Three minutes to go here, and pretty much all the momentum and swing has been with UQ.
I don't recall Maroochydore having an inside 50 this quarter. If they did, it was very early and very brief. Certainly haven't scored a point as Seaton wrestles through the middle. The shot comes in from Mason. Hands from O'Grady. She does that, and in fact doesn't even concede a point because they hit the behind post. That'll be a throw-in.
It was a great chase down. And that kind of effort is going to go a long way today in keeping the dreams alive for this game. Just lost a bit of the spark, though, that they had earlier.
Good hustling on the ground. That was from Edie McCabe. Boundary throw-in. And you're right, there is a bit of a lacklustre nature just to the last few minutes of play, isn't there?
Well, they were leading at the end of that first quarter, 7-6. But it's been 2 goals to none now.
As Sills was able to pickpocket that. Sartor will either, in fact it lands in. Somehow everybody missed it. Staying on her feet well was Edgar. Tries to play tunnel ball with Mason. Or possibly stuck in the mud. UQ pressure around the contest. Johnson Moody couldn't get her handball away. Past Condren. Seaton brought down from behind. Falls towards McCabe. And once again, O'Grady knows where danger is. Stuffs it out. Seaton just overran it. Sills again. Sills evades the tackle. Brought down by Cook. Ball up.
Something I'm noticing as well, Daniel, is just the numbers for Maroochydore in their defensive 50. Probably why, you know, they're getting hands on it like right now, but in this transition there's not a lot of options, and yet UQ are kind of constantly one-on-one.
Gillard, the full forward's taken that ball, took the kick from Hydes, and Hydes charges up to take the 1-2. So her GPS is getting a workout, goes wide to Fitzpatrick. This is better from Maroochydore. They don't have long. It's the final minute of this second quarter. Not a great kick from Fitzpatrick. Still finds a teammate in Edgar. Pressure on that pass. Williams got there ahead of Mason. No further.
Well, 30 seconds until half-time. Love to see the Roos just put the foot down and give it their all.
Well, if you want to see a Roo put her foot down and give it her all, then Arnica Williams, number 21, is your girl. She occasionally slows down to 100-mile-an-hour football. Rest of the time, it's foot through the floor, never mind to it. Williams on the ground. Muir knocks it out, got the ball to, I think, Hennessy. And then taken by Norton. That'll be half-time. It's been UQ's quarter. 3-2-20 leads 1-1-7. Elka Barnett scored in the first term. Ava Seaton scored twice in the second quarter. And they lead Jaya Epstein's goal early in the match for Maroochydore. This is Exum Sport Pride Round, round 14 of the Bond University QAFLW at Giffen Park, Coorparoo. You sound a bit more comfortable there.
Yes, that was a little bit better.
And I wanted to give you that certain goal.
I thought, no, this is how this is.
You put your hand out.
Yeah, it was okay.
The thing I love about my job is that I get to combine both my passions together, surfing and musculoskeletal physiotherapy, and that was the PhD which I did here at Bond University.
I'm originally from southern Brazil, and during my PhD at Bond University, I met James Furness, and now we do surfing research together.
I was a physiotherapist, and so I took that knowledge to the surfing population. The facilities here at Bond University are incredible. Access to the equipment, so VO2 max testing, DEXA, all of that was here on campus. Really our goal is looking at minimising injury, but also maximising performance. Keeping people on the water for longer is really important. If someone can't surf, that affects their physical health, but also their mental health.
Through Bond University, I could get all the equipment I needed to do my PhD studies. It's world-class waves and international surfing events. It was a no-brainer.
We went to Snapper Rocks and we got to be part of a world-class surf event and also perform surfer health checks on the world's best surfers.
On the Gold Coast, we can find perfect work-life balance.
How I want to live my life with my family is I want it to be outdoors. I want them playing in the water, playing in the surf. The number one reason why students should come study here would be the access they have to staff, and it's just better than any other university. The fact that you can walk straight into the professor's office and get that one-on-one feedback, I think is just second to none.
My name's James Strybos. I started umpiring at the Jindalee Jags Football Club. I've been going for about 20 years now, and I'm now just becoming an AFL umpire.
So I'm Matthew Young. I've been umpiring for 17 years now. Started at Jindalee Jaguars, also into the QAFL, into the NEFL, VFL, and then finally in the AFL.
Hi, my name's Andrew. I started umpiring at the Aspley Hornets Football Club. I've been umpiring for close to 11 years, and now I'm umpiring AFL football.
I was influenced by my dad. He was running around in Queensland at the time, and then the local footy club at Jindalee wanted some club umpires, so I thought it was a great opportunity to earn a little bit while I could. So I started in club umpiring, and then really quickly kind of found myself wanting to get involved in the Brisbane Juniors, so then made my way through that pathway all the way into senior footy up here in Queensland.
So we started playing together back at Jindalee Jaguars, and he had a history of umpiring in his family with his old man, and seeing James umpire as well got me involved into umpiring. So to now share that experience that we've had for so long, 15 years or whatever it is, 16 years, to now umpire, and hopefully we get to do a game together at AFL level, which will be awesome.
I started playing at Aspley at under-8 football, and then when I got to about under-13s, I started my club umpiring journey there just to make a bit of extra money. Probably like a lot of umpires, I realised that I was a lot better at umpiring than I was at playing, so to get to any sort of decent level, I knew that it wasn't going to be through playing, it was going to be through umpiring, so it was a pretty easy decision in the end.
Down at Jindalee, it was a pint of Coke, whether it was a scoreboard or club umpiring or goal umpiring. I used to run about 3 or 4 games a weekend and enjoy the 3 or 4 pies and Cokes, which was fantastic. I'm glad it's changed a little bit now.
Absolutely, give it a go. I didn't have a whole lot of interest when I was playing footy until friends and whatnot started umpiring, and then I just loved it from day one. So I think it's a great opportunity for you to build confidence in yourself. There's so many range of areas where you can develop yourself outside of footy as well, and it helps you in life in general. So give it a go for sure. It's a journey that I'm so thankful that I took up at a young age.
Obviously the 3 of us getting put on this year, and there's already 2 on the list at the moment, so to have a good strong contingent of Queensland umpires on the list is fantastic, and built with 2 guys that I've kind of come through the ranks with and umpired a lot of football with. It's really good.
It's been a long road to get to this position, and when the phone call came through I was pretty speechless, and even now talking about it, it's still very exciting and really just looking forward to what challenges are ahead with it.
I think it's probably commitment is the number one thing. A lot of people have a lot of talent and a lot of people have a lot of promise, but I think if you can combine that with commitment and getting everything right off the field and putting in 100% like everything, I think that's probably what it takes is to get there. Yeah.
First of all, they were stunned
Giselle's built. I remember when Giselle was like just skinny, and then when she got older and grew muscle, it's like, yeah, I respect you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you see someone like Naomi now, who's just, I mean, she's taking on Happy Smart for. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. You just had a little moment there, unless you. Oh, good to see you. I haven't read it, but I've had a little all over the place kind of thing, so it was Jesse Sells who number one for Maroochydore. So it was, yeah, you see it.
The University of Queensland in control here at Giffen Park on Exum Sport Pride Round 14 of the Bond University QAFLW. They lead 3-2-20 to Maroochidore's 1-1-7. My name is Daniel Viles. With me is Hannah Davies. Hannah, big festival day, lots of colours about and everywhere except the sky, and I think possibly maybe that's having a bit of effect on the football.
Yeah, certainly. It's a little bit grey here and, cool weather. Feels a little bit flat, and I think it's having an effect on the Roos right now. They've started really well. Jai Epstein getting one for the Roos, and then in that second quarter, UQ just turned things up a level, and the Roos unable to maintain that energy. And having a look at their halftime huddle, it's looking pretty different to UQ's as well. They looked a little flat, kind of went away and had a bit of quiet chatting, I guess, and I'm wondering, what's happening for them and what kind of footy they want to bring out for this second half.
They have had a few weeks where they've had their under-18 stars who, of course, right now actually are playing on the Adelaide Oval, and I really hope they're going well. Stay with us for now, but go back and watch the replay on women's.afl later on. But yeah, players like Indiana Williams, Sophie Peters, Amber Swan, etc. Today they're without them, and they've had to bring in a few new players who have all been at the club all year. There's nothing second-rate about them. But yeah, possibly just not looking up and seeing, someone who is able to take the game on there. Just maybe having a a slightly subconscious flattening effect.
I think you're right. It does kind of feel like they're looking to a few certain players to make things happen for them. I think, despite that, though, Epstein's been awesome. She did get that goal in the first one. And, of course, Sarah Jane O'Grady, captain, has also had a really great impact. But, well, over in the UQ camp, Ava Seaton has just been on her merry way all game, hasn't she? 1 to her name, and Elka Barnett 2 to her name as well.
2 to Seaton, 1 to Barnett, and so.
Sorry, Daniel.
No, you're right. But the thing I like about what Seaton's doing is she's bringing the younger players from UQ into the game. So players like Sartor and McCabe and Champion, they're playing better because of Seaton. And ironically, I think Champion's actually older than Seaton, so Seaton's just. But Seaton is a champion, no pun intended, and she is. No, I didn't mean that one. And no, for her to lead this team and bring them into the game is wonderful.
They have Hicks remains in the ruck here. She's also had a really good impact. Another one that I've loved the look of is number 6 here for UQ, Sartor. She's got great speed, had a really nice impact that last quarter as we get ready for second half here.
There's high contact straight away, so Seaton waits about 2 seconds to get into the action. Immediately through the middle, spotted the run, but Demi Norton did superbly. She's got a very cultured left boot as well. Just had to put it into space. Bridie Eva had 3 red lionesses around her. Fisher's kicked his charge down. Just goes past the run. Well, Dargy will be the last one to touch it before it goes out of bounds.
Probably been one of the things the Roos can look to work on as we begin that second half is just support around them. A couple more numbers near the ball. I feel like they're getting great contact like here, but it's that second and third disposal.
Barnett will collect it on the ground, goes to Hicks. Not only not 15, that was barely 4. Knife out wide. Gets past Johnson Moody, over the head of Condren. Goes back towards Logan, and Logan kind of gave up on that fairly early, which is all fine. In fact, I apologise, I missed the call of free kick behind. So this will be Harriet Knife handing off to Gracie Champion. She's had a few sighters today, and then she'll be disappointed that she missed what she would consider to be a fairly easy shot in front of goal at the other end. In fact, Hannah, redeem yourself. You call this one through, please.
Well, Champion, can she rewrite the second quarter? Little line up, big swing. Will it make the distance? It won't. And it'll go to the right as a behind. So that's 2 opportunities now. She's been playing really well, just unfortunately can't hit the scoreboard.
I wonder if her leg's completely right, because I seem to recall her previous shots on goal this season having a really good leg extension, where she just seems to be sort of holding back and just chipping at the ball at the moment. So I just wonder whether she's fully fit.
And there's nothing wrong with the way she's playing otherwise either. She's getting herself in a great position.
Seaton's caught with the ball just outside the rainbow. Leona Jones. Hicks. Good tap down to Seaton. Charges through. Now. Yes, went for a bounce in the tackle. Maroochydore not happy with that call. Sartor wrapping around. Mason. But Maroochydore able to get it away. Looking up towards Eva in front. Eva has Dawson on her back. Dawson somehow extracted that like she was taking an egg from a chicken. Epstein. Bowled over inside 50. Knife couldn't get hold of it. Several running past it. Out wide, that was good work from Dargy. Eventually called just outside 50. So UQ with a free kick, but yes, well, if you bounce while you're being tackled, that should be called holding the ball. Jones obviously saw it differently. She saw that she wasn't held when she bounced it, so that was her call, and we'll respect that from this distance. Mason pumping it inside 50. Too wide, even for the skills of Condren.
So again, UQ continuing their high possessions for the third quarter. The Roos really just struggling to get it into their own 50.
Possibly lacking a ball winner in the middle. Arnica Williams can play that role.
You're right, they're defensively doing pretty well, but it's just transitioning it back over the other side that is lacking. they're able to get the ball, but then there's not enough support. Here we go.
Eva towards it. Johnson Moody. And again, just got knocked away from them. Wraps up Barnett straight away. There was a hint of high contact, but it was accidental and not really of any great importance. Another ball up, so Maroochydore locking it up. Stop-start third quarter. As Eva tries to crawl her way through, looking for an underground tunnel in Giffen Park. Whatever works. Tara Muir wrestling with Jacinta Fisher. It's about the fourth or fifth ball up in a row. I've lost count. This passage will not be on the DVD highlights. Sorry, DVDs went the way of stamps, didn't they? Inside 50.
Yeah, they definitely did, Daniel.
So has anyone seen my bifocals? We have yet another ball up inside 50. I don't wear bifocals.
Oh, dear.
Well, it's outside the 50. Charging out through the middle. The tackle will be paid. So it might have been Eva just bit off more than she could chew. And the free kick goes to Knife. Looking for options inside. Went through Condren, just went onto her a little bit quicker than she thought. O'Grady getting back. Sartor may sneak one here. Back in towards Condren. She puts the tackle on. Hits the post. That was Mason. No, that was Barnett. So Barnett credited with the behind. And that could have been absolutely anything.
Plenty of numbers here for the Roos, but no one making a clear enough drive that says to their teammate, I'm here, I'm ready.
Fletcher's kick charged down by Bridie Eva. O'Grady cleaned up, found Tees in the pocket. Not her cleanest kick. Norton got onto it, disappeared over her shoulder. Epstein introduced to the ground, not quite head first, but another ball up. Good day for the Rucks to rack up some stats, but not necessarily the kind of stats they're after. Cook cleans up at the back. Jesse Sills putting a lot of pressure on. Cook did well in the contest, under a lot of pressure. Muir's working well inside. Fisher didn't go the distance, but Hennessy did well. Norton, Tees. Tees will go wide again. This will find Edgar. It won't find Edgar. It'll find Andrews. Edgar just lets out a sigh of frustration. Good hand from Fisher. Fisher on the ground with Muir. Just a few signs that Maroochydore may be just turning the corner a bit. They're starting to connect a few more passes.
They're certainly edging up the closer a little bit. Sorry, edging up the field.
I know what you meant.
You know what I meant. But it's certainly not easy, and UQ are putting a lot of pressure on pretty much every passage.
As we have I thought for a moment it was a battle of the Evas in the middle with Bridie Eva from Maroochydore and Eva Sartor from UQ, but there was only one Eva and it's a restart anyway. Hicks, volleyball breaks out. Childs loses it over her shoulder. Norton pushed forward. That's a lovely run through the middle. Just needed one more pickup. Instead, breaks away. Eventually the Hicks. Got a handball from Dargy. Well intercepted. Excellent work from, I think, Hennessy. Pushed forward again by Edgar. Edgar looking further forward. Finds the run of Torbecker. Well brought down by Henning. Free kick will go to Maroochydore. Torbecker did well. 15 points the difference. Torbecker, that's well cut off. Ava Seaton deciding she can play centre half back as well.
Yeah, goodness, it looked like she was a forward there, didn't it?
Through to Fletcher, who stood behind the pack, came up with it. Switches the play quickly, looking for the run of McCabe. Barnett will win the free. In fact, Barnett will hand off the free kick. Went to McCabe. She goes wide as UQ stream forward. The mark was taken and will be paid, as that was given to McKenna. McKenna, who made her QAFLW debut against Maroochydore back in round 2. Fitzpatrick cleans up, battling with Childs. And that'll be ball up number 3,228 this quarter.
Certainly been like that today. Maroochydore really need to put something on the scoreboard. It's looking just a bit flat across the board.
Going to a Pride round, plenty of paraphernalia here. If you're in the area, come down. Plenty of good food. Lots of very colourful things to purchase. And you will be supporting a part of the community that was not just excluded but maligned for a very long time, and encouraging them to have not merely tolerance for who they are but pride in who they are is where we're at in 2023.
Yeah, and you know, this round is not just exclusive to the QAFLW, but of course it is extending across the QAFL men's and into the lower divisions too.
I'll just interrupt to praise the mark by Jasmine Decker. Brilliant mark. Continue.
No, understandable, Daniel. But yeah, it is going across all areas of AFLQ today.
Through the hands of Knife, went through to Logan. Over the top, well held by Hurley. Hurley's grown this year. Maybe wasn't quite ready for first grade when she was first selected. She is now. Sills took it well under pressure. Turns. Had to get away a couple of times from Dargy. Oh, good work from Russell. Russell just getting hands on the ball. Wasn't able to get through, but put enough pressure on, and the turnover's now created through Childs. Finds Hicks standing in her own postcode. She decides to slow things down. That just came out. Oh, Fletcher going for mark of the year number 2. Knocks it for Barnett. Barnett outside 50. The defence worked well. That was Johnson Moody putting pressure on her. Turnover as McKenna just had to do a couple of circumnavigations of herself. Fisher retreating. Her kick charged down. Muir will clean up. Muir looks to go centrally, kicks it away to Childs. Childs has Russell in space, but never kicked to a stationary target. That was well picked off. That was Hurley again. Mason working through the middle. Russell kicked it away, but pressure on Logan. Sartor went without it. Charging through. Russell with a triple effort. Hicks, not the cleanest kick inside, looking for the run of champion. And that'll be a minor score as it was just put through by McCabe at the end. Leading goal scorer for West Juniors in 2023, looking to get on the board for UQ Seniors.
Maroochydore got plenty of numbers over this way. Just need to nail the timing, and that one straight over to Childs. She's had a cracker game so far. Can't quite find the teammate. Maroochydore again.
Stumped by Gill. Oh, I'm actually surprised Decker dropped that one. Not because it was easy, but because she just normally takes them. Russell having a good few minutes. Childs again, bumped legally by Williams.
Yeah, Russell's another youngster in the UQ side, but tell you what, I think the younger they are, the more fearless they are. Seeing her dive at some of those balls, there is no fear or question in her mind. Condren, she'll go up for this one. Decent impact. A lot of bodies in that mix.
I think Epstein was almost delivering the ball to Condren using her back as a tray.
I don't know how she came out of that one alive.
Well, I'd say they're tougher than me, but that's not a high standard. Childs leaves it behind, seated on the ground, contact below the knees, free kick UQ. Free kick goes to Childs, who's probably been the player on the ground of the third quarter. Very much a clean-up job, but winning her own ball as well. Landed in the middle of a pack. Norton has worked very hard today without much luck. Good example of it. Was knocked out by Knife. McKenna on the ground, tied up by Hides. Hides has worked hard throughout this season. She is twice the player that she was at the beginning of the year. Spent time with the Lions Academy as well, which helps. But she's getting in amongst it against older, harder, more seasoned, well, not professionals, but campaigners. As Leona Jones had a whole bunch of ball-ups before, so Hannah Milner's decided that looks like fun.
He's coming up against Condren right now, and good win there from Condren.
Back to Fletcher, who pumps it towards centre half forward. Clever push at the right time by Johnson Moody. Barnett looking for the run of McCabe. McCabe did well to grab that. Gets away from Fitzpatrick. McCabe heads goalward. Champions there. Not needed. well, possibly could have been needed. McCabe with a minor. And so UQ dominating, but not able to put the game to bed. Just haven't landed anything like a killer blow. In fact, they haven't scored a goal this quarter.
No, you're right, Daniel. I mean, in terms of possession, they're certainly leading that, but certainly not on the scoreboard. It's not at all their game yet.
McCabe has a shot across the face again. In fact, that'll be no score at all.
But the challenge for the Roos is to get it actually into their half. That's where they're struggling.
They had a little moment about 5 minutes ago where they was threatening to get it out. Demi Norton's worked hard. Kaya Hides has worked hard. This ball up. This Condren works well. She's winning the taps. Wasn't able to get it to a teammate. Charlotte Andrews knocked it to Fisher. Good enough. Fisher back in towards a deep entry. The Palms were facing the wrong way to mark that. Everyone was trying to knock it to someone. That'll come out to Hyde. She does well. Was under pressure. Laid off well to Hennessy. The off break turns inside. Cook cleans up. That'll be held. Cook was put under pressure. And Eva and Torbecker made sure she had nowhere to go. Epstein. Decker at the back with the punch. Williams was looking for crumbs. Mason turned the corner. Falls luckily, but unfortunate for Maroochydore. There was holding of a player off the ball just as the luck was about to go their way. Dawson at centre half-back. Through the middle. Fell over the back of Eva. Champion shrugs off Eva's tackle. Through the middle. Good punch from Johnson Moody. Maybe the direction wasn't good, but at least it created a one-on-one. McCabe knocks it to advantage. Fitzpatrick holding over the shoulder. Opportunity for McCabe. That was clever from McCabe. Knocked it to advantage, then drew the body contact. Got the free kick and quietly said yay.
Might be saying yay a little bit louder if she can get this one on the board. That'll make it 4. And it will certainly put the lead even higher. McCabe lines up, big swing, it'll go right. And a minor for McCabe.
I think that was Champion on the line who, it's like she got a call from someone to let it go through, which is what you normally do when it's heading goalward. And I think she got a call from someone with a bit of parallax error, which is not really what you want. It flies. Williams, good link up. Through the middle and then taken to Henning. Henning's done about 5 zillion of those in her career. Finds Andrews. They've become a very good defensive combination this year. Something to build around after a number of key losses over the off-season. Condren. Behind her found Sartor via Fisher. Wasn't really kicked to anyone in particular. And then finds its way through to Barnett, who was nearly away. Closed down by, certainly Epstein was one. I think Tees was the other. Jesse Sills getting involved. Another effort from McKecken. Again, Johnson Moody, that was the wrong time to punch. She eventually worked out that taking the ball was the right thing to do. Childs put a lot of pressure on her. Sartor benefits. Sartor inside 50, looking for the run of Barnett. Already has a goal today, Barnett. Couldn't grab onto that for a second run. The score in this quarter is 0-4-4 to UQ, 0-0-0 to Maroochydore. That could be out on the full as the radar just went completely missing for, I think, Johnson Moody. So Knife will have the free kick at right half forward, probably about 45 from goal. We'll be looking for an option inside. In fact, she goes pretty much horizontal. Hurley takes it away. Sartor does well. Moonball handball. Went away from Cook. Good work from Hides. Went underneath, I think, Edgar. Extracted by Mason. Edgar with a second effort. She goes through the centre and finds a good run of Gillard.
So the Roos urging themselves forward because there was no one there a few seconds ago. Almost weren't expecting it, and that's a great take there.
Hayley Edgar.
So where will Edgar put it? Well, the one-on-one from UQ is heavy.
Needs a lead, hasn't got one. Just good tap away, and that allows Dawson, although she nearly made a meal of it, comes out wide to Dargy. Dargy through the middle, found Hicks. The counter is on. There's a loose player in Knife ahead of her. Went in a different direction, found Barnett. The run of Childs was brilliant, outside, inside. Childs inside 50, looking for champion. It's now a one-on-one. Imogen David does well. She's often confused with Sarah Jane O'Grady. It's not just because of her playing style. She gives away a free kick here. Sorry, not just because of her physical appearance, also her playing style. She's become a very good defender this year. And even though she's given away a free kick, I feel absolutely justified in continuing the praise. But Jane Childs, not a noted goal scorer.
Get the ball in.
4 seconds left. The mark's got to be taken beforehand. It'll hit the deck, and that will be three-quarter time. Apparently it won't be three-quarter time. We have had some delayed buzzers here at Giffen Park in the past, but not on this occasion. UQ's quarter, but frustrating for players and fans alike. UQ 3-6-24 lead Maroochydore 1-1-7. Three-quarter time, second game of Exum Sport Pride Round, round 14 at the Bond University QAFLW.
Three-quarter time here in game 2 of the Exum Sport Pride Round at QAFLW. Match today here between UQ and Maroochydore. UQ holding a strong 3-6-24 to 1-1-7 lead over the Rules. On behalf of AFL Queensland, we would like to thank Exum Sport for their ongoing partnership with AFL Queensland on Pride Round. Without the support of Exum there, we wouldn't be able to deliver what we do each year for Pride Round. We'd also like to thank Pride Cup Australia for their ongoing partnership with AFL Queensland, helping us to deliver education and inclusive workshops right across the state in conjunction with the Exum Sport Pride Round. The day is well underway at the moment. The Red Bull DJ van is not far away from kicking off. The beautiful smell of barbecue market starting to waft right across the ground, so please make your way over to the main clubhouse to get some food. There's face painting going off as well, just in front of the Councillor Fiona Cunningham tent there, just in front of the main clubhouse. There's merchandise for sale, plenty happening, so please make sure you get around and check out all that's on offer. And on that note, a big thank you to Cooper Football Club for their hosting of today's flagship Exum Sport Pride Round event.
Okay, Millennium. How's everything from your perspective, Josh?
Yeah, everything's good. Yep. Comms are incredible. And, yeah.
That's good. So, yeah, I can't believe the comms either sometimes.
I think this is my third time using this kit, so I'm still learning a few things. But
Now, is Sue coming to do the next game?
yes, so she'll be taking over after me afterwards.
So doing the next two? Or
Yeah, the next two.
I'm glad they rotate you. So.
Yeah. I've got to head off to do some soft matches after this. So,
So,
Welcome back to Giffen Park. Second game of Exum Sport Pride Round. University of Queensland leading Maroochydore by 18 points. I'm Daniel Viles, with me is Hannah Davies. Hannah, we're looking for something to blow this game open, aren't we?
Well, that's it, and really we need just something from the Roos. You know, a scoreless quarter in the third term. We saw some good stuff from them in the first one. They've gone quiet. Already a big start, though, from UQ.
As Ava Seaton draws the free kick. Possibly unlucky against Epstein, but
Wasn't
again,
heaps in it, was there?
look, whenever you're officiating any sport, if you have to make a 50-50 call, someone will not like you. Knife knocks it back to Childs. Childs has had a whale of a game. Loses it on that occasion. Maroochydore with a chance to get out of trouble. Let's look for the structure. David comes out wide. Found Epstein. That ended up being a clever push to Muir. Muir inside. Norton was in plenty of space. There was a free player over the back. Found her. Comes back to Edgar. That was McKecken who laid off. Turned it over to Seaton. Still had numbers around the ball. Norton is able to wrap up. Oh, that looked worse than it was, and the umpire has seen it absolutely correctly. Ball up. Condren v Tees. Netball v basketball in the middle. I think it landed on the head of Epstein, so let's call her the winner. Another ball up. But every now and then in a game that's been really lacklustre, as there was, I think Jones is just recognising that she threw that ball over the head of the rucks and thought, I'll do that again, I'll do better for you. You'll have a lacklustre game and then suddenly you'll see a moment of genius. I remember Eddie Betts in the AFL some years ago kicked goal of the year after 20 minutes of the most boring football I've ever seen. Dawson stepping, reversing, going through the middle. Basically driving herself like a manual car. Do they still have those?
They do, Daniel. I'll give you that one.
Phew.
But they also have self-driving cars now. So in a few years' time, you won't be able to say that.
I will be able to say Jaya Epstein moving inside 50, finds Jessie Sills. Maroochydore inside 50. This has been a rare occurrence for them of late. Has to go to a contest. Over the back of Henning. Running onto it was McKecken. Went without it. Henning able to clean up. And that's actually a short kick from her. And with a luckier bounce, well, it could have gone to Tees. O'Grady came up very, very hard. Used her body. There are two players down. Fletcher is down. Was being checked on by Dargy. And then Fletcher said, don't worry about me. Go back into battle. Edgar with the outside of the boot. McKecken chasing. Takes a weird turn. Henning trying to get there. Wrong side of the post from Maroochidore's perspective. But they've scored for the first time since the first term.
Katie Fletcher remains on the ground, looks in a lot of pain around her shoulders. She has got the right shoulder pretty heavily strapped. Came off in the first quarter with a couple of knee niggles, but looks to be getting back up. She's just checking out the knee again.
It's good news for the neutrals as well as the UQ fans. She's exciting, Katie Fletcher. Made a debut for Aspley 2 years ago as a halfback flanker. Came to UQ. Ross Clayfield says, I think you're a forward. Kicked 4 goals in her first match. Back to Muir. Muir ends up with it. Just beat the run of, I think, Childs at the bottom, possibly Mason. No, it was Childs. The inside midfield contest hasn't really had a winner today apart from that woman over Seaton. McKecken knocked it forward to her own advantage, kicked it out. Sills looking for space, had Edgar behind her. Pickpocketed by Childs. Sorry, by Fisher. And Fisher will win the free kick. Jacinta Fisher started the year in reserve grade. Has played a little bit in South Australia. Katie Fletcher. Athletic. Back inside to McKenna. McKenna slowly forward to Seaton. Seaton just got the disposal away in time. Kicked it into Tees. Tees will return with interest. And then it will default to Childs.
Just love to see more intention from the Roos as well. You know, that was a great pick up there. But just would have been nice to take that extra second. Can they do it here? No, they'll have to chase it.
As Torbecker just came onto the field and thought, thank you for kicking the ball to me. Looking for Eva. Went through everyone. Fisher, Andrews. cleared. Was looking for Cook, went a little bit wide. Clean bowls Condren. Epstein working back well. Pushed off it well by Fletcher. In fact, Fletcher will win the free kick for that. Fletcher, Maroochydore with lots of numbers back. As Southport start a change in reserve grade, so they've emerged as dual victors over Wilston Grange today. And UQ have it in their forward 50. $17-point margin. So Maroochydore know that 3 goals will be enough. They don't need to muck around with minor scores.
Even that task, though, seems pretty hard against the team we're seeing from UQ today. Childs had a good go at that. Did well to bring it to the floor.
Be a ball up about 40 from goal. Epstein working hard. She's probably been Maroochidore's best today. She's been Maroochidore's best several times this season. Always been there or thereabouts, but with a few midfielders leaving over the off-season, Epstein's had to step up, and my goodness, she has. Gives away the free kick, Lara Mason. Probably on the edge of her range. Another one who previously played for Aspley. You'll need a good shot. And that wasn't it. Hits the deck, enough defenders there. Condren inside. Hicks was behind the play. Good enough work at the back. That was, I think, Logan working in there. Over the back, cleaned up by Decker. She does that.
She's had a great impact as well. Hasn't played, too much game time really, but when she's been on, has been on song.
Logan again working out from the back. In fact, that was Hurley, apologies. It was Hurley before as well. I owe her 2. Mason cleaned up pretty much where we were two minutes ago. Condren with the win, but got it straight to an opponent, no Grady. O'Grady under pressure from Childs, regains it 3 times, but Childs' pressure affects the clearance. McKenna, bowled over on impact. Ball threatening to leave the contest, eventually does, but there was a push in the back. Maroochydore with a chance to clear. Maroochydore decided to come back a little bit more centrally. Bridie Eva did well. Eva will go a bit wider. Henning was there.
Could say that all day. Jessie Henning just been so reliable. Sits in that back pocket.
Champion just hung back from that challenge. From that marking contest, rather. Tees. Again, very familiar with the ground. Mason. She's picked up her efforts in the third and fourth quarter. Not saying she was lazy early, just that she's been noticeably more active the later this game has gone. Condren was in over the top, but the Roos were able to clear 50 through, I believe that's David at the bottom. 11.5 minutes left. Maroochydore led at quarter time. Scored 1 behind since. Red Lionesses again, not able to be taken by Hicks. Fitzpatrick. Good work from McCabe. That'll be cleared again by David. Mason again, inside the Condren. Outside, the shot comes in from Barnett. Barnett it dribbles through everyone. 2 Maroochydore players are back. Hennessy's nearest. Hennessy with a grubber kick. Back to Fitzpatrick. They've got numbers at the contest and UQ have pressure at the contest. Eventually cleared out to Epstein with the right foot. Onto the 50. The attempted clear up, well, it went behind Hurley. Players falling over each other. It's a little bit Keystone Cops. That was way before your time. I'll acknowledge that early. Boundary throw in. Eastern side, southern corner.
So 10.5 minutes left in the second game here. Plenty of footy today. Too much footy?
Never enough.
Never.
Thank you for the setup there. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome.
I'm Roy. She's HG.
Of course, this game still does have a pretty big impact on the season, doesn't it, Daniel? Because UQ, as we see Jesse Henning
Diving catch.
clear up another one.
I mean, UQ need to win their last 3 and Cooper need to lose their last 3. So
That's a big, big ask, isn't it?
it is.
Not of UQ really to win them, but of Cooper to lose them.
Yes. No, UQ, they could go 3 from 3. It's a possibility as Childs. Definitely in the running for, in fact, that's Fisher again. I've mixed them up a few times. Fletcher just turned away from her. Everywhere she went, the magnet went the opposite direction. Maroochydore have the numbers around the contest, and yet Fisher's putting pressure on them again. Just a little bit slow to dispose, and whereas Maroochydore had a 4-on-1, they now have a ball up. Condren winning some rucks, not able to get it. That kick, it left her boot and she turned away in disgust. Don't you live 2 suburbs away as well?
Yeah, in the gap, it feels further. about Seaton is the work she kind of does around the ball and around the play, not just when she makes a direct impact, but kind of setting up other plays. Today, which just seals the deal pretty They're all fake now.
Through to Knife. Only goal scorer in the second half. Laid it up beautifully. She was expecting. Shot for glory. The result is confirmed. UQ have 4 points. They keep alive their very slim finals hopes. Hands on the line, no score.